y buenos días. Bienvenido a clase. Hoy, today, estudiamos en Pasos sección 2A. And we're only going to do actividades 18, which is 18, to 24, which is 24. ¿Por qué? Means why. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué only 18 to 24? ¿Por qué also means because. Isn't that weird? ¿Por qué? Why? ¿Por qué? Because. So ¿por qué? Why is two words. ¿Por qué? And because, ¿por qué? Just one word. Bueno, hola, bienvenido a clase. Vamos a estudiar actividades 18 a 24. ¿Por qué? Porque no quiero que la clase sea muy largo. Okay, I want you to be able to estudiar esta clase en 1 hora. La sección 2A se llama los números. It's a lovely lesson and a lovely word, means numbers, but they have the ooh, los números. See? So, los números en español break down into, I break them down into 6 grupos. Bien? So, abrir means to open. Abrir tu libro en página 28. 28. And we'll have a look at those 6 grupos. You have los números at the top of your page. It's not una lista completa. You can get una lista completa from my website, spanglishfantastico.com, and I'll put a link for you in the description of the video. Los 6 grupos. I've got a little card here. So the first grupo is 0 to 10, and we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you want to repeat those words conmigo, then just rewind the video. And the words are las palabras. And of course, we write them in figures, which are cifras. Okay, so those are 2 palabras importantes. Palabra, word, and cifra, figure. Bien? El segundo grupo. El segundo grupo is just 11 to 15, and they all end in se. So we have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 means 15. It looks like quince, but because the QU make a K sound, it's 15. Bien? If you want to repeat los números conmigo, rewind the video. El tercer grupo, that means the third group. El tercer grupo is 10 and 10 So it looks like 10, but the idea is 10 and 10, 10, 16, 17, 18, 19. That's your third group to learn. Fourth group, el cuarto grupo, is 20 to 29. 20 is, I've got it here, 20. Now with that V making a B sound, we have 20. And then it goes to 20, and then you add the numbers. So 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. And then we come to 30, which is 30. El quinto, the fifth, el quinto grupo. Don't worry about first, second, third, fourth, fifth. We'll do that later. The fifth group is 10 to 100, counting in tens, and you need to learn those as fluently as you have 1 to 10. So we have, I'll just put one finger up for 10 and 2 for 20, okay? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Rewind the video if you want to repeat those numbers with me. You have to learn those. So I would recommend, yo recomiendo, que aprendas de memoria 10 to 100, like that. 10, 20, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. I better repeat that more slowly, más lento. Y otra vez. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Okay. And el último grupo, the last group, 31 to 99. You just take the number 30 and then say and 1 and 2. So it's 31, 32, 33, and so on. Now, a CD track is una pista. And you can remember that word track, pista, because if you think of skiing, when we go off-piste, when we go, as if I ski. I don't ski. Off-piste means off-track. So pista 33 is track 33. And that's what I would like you to escuchar. La idea es, you have una lista de números en página 28. Escucha pista 33 and just tick los números que escuchas. That is actividad 18A. Pause video and completar la actividad. Muy bien. Actividad 18B just involves you listening, escucha otra vez y escribe los números en palabras. Write the numbers in words, okay? So not en cifras, not in figures, but in words, en palabras. It's a really good ejercicio. So pause the video, escucha pista 33 otra vez y escribe los números en palabras. And of course, hablan rápido. They speak quickly. And you can't say más lento, slow down, or slowly. It's more slower. Más lento means slower. Oh, Dios mío. I'm not awake this morning. So you need to hit pause on your CD player so that you have el tiempo para escribir. Bien, pause this video. Actividad 18B. Hola. The word for now is ahora. I don't mind. No me importa. No me importa. Bien? Ahora. No me importa si no hayas memorizado todos los números. I don't mind if you haven't memorized todos los números. Poco a poco, little by little, paso a paso. En una clase de español, la profesora presenta la información y los estudiantes escuchan, anotan, note down, y absorben, y practican, y absorben. I really like Pasos because it gives you muchas oportunidades para practicar. We are on Página 28 y Actividad 19 is actually going back to Actividad 17. So they ask you to go back to las tarjetas, go back to the cards, las tarjetas en Actividad 17 and read los números en español. Okay, I want to say a couple of things about that. Primero, I think it's easiest to go to the transcript booklet, so you have this, and read los diálogos. They've got the numbers, los números, en cifras. They've written them en cifras, not out en palabras. So there you have it. They look like you would just read 2, 4, 24. You wouldn't go 2, 4, 24 automáticamente. So the transcripts are a really good way to do this. The second thing is, en español, there is una tendencia to say los números de teléfono, to block them in groups of 2. So instead of saying 2, 4, they would say 24. When there's a group of 3, they might split it. So they would have, for example, 769, 24, 66, 78. Let's have a look at un ejemplo here. So you could have 976, 61, 44, 68. Something like that. Okay, third thing. I said there was only going to be 2. Third thing. Tercera cosa. Is when you read the transcripts and you say los números en español, it would be lovely if you could then go and check, but on the recording they have simplificado los números de teléfono. So you will hear it read as, for example, 976614468. Okay, so that's a little miss. Never mind. The street numbers will be read in the format 24. And one last thing before you read it, there is when one of them gives an address and they have a little 1 with a little 0 above it, and that is just primero, and that means first. So in English we would have a 1 and then the ST, little ST. In Espanol it's 1 and then a little O for primero. If it was feminine, it would be 1 and then a little A for primera. Okay, so it'll be primero de. Bien, use your transcripts to read los diálogos, and then you can listen to la pista 32 para comparar, to compare what you said and what they said. Pause this video and do that actividad ahora. Bien, I like Actividad 19 porque combina revision con práctica. Ahora, Actividad 20 gives us más oportunidades para practicar. ¿Cuáles son sus números de teléfono? Sus means their. What are their telephone numbers? And we've got dos ejemplos, 2 examples. We've got ¿cuál es tu número de teléfono. Tú means your. It's informal. It's linked to tú, meaning you. And we've also got ¿cuál es su número de teléfono? Su means your as well, but that's formal. It's linked to usted, which means you. Bien. And I also wanted to just comment on something. This word cuál. Cuál means what or which. But listen, in inglés, escucha, we have what are you called? What is your telephone number? What do you want? In español, we got 3 different ways to translate what. ¿Cuál es tu número de teléfono? ¿Cómo te llamas? And ¿qué quieres? Es interesante. I only wanted to point that out. Es interesante porque es diferente, which is exactly what you'd expect because it's a different lenguaje. Bien? Now, actividad 20, recomiendo que uses tu móvil, your mobile phone, and read los 2 ejemplos. And then you've got 4 different numbers. When you're talking to the older lady, you might use usted, ¿cuál es su número de teléfono? And what I recommend is you record yourself saying los números en español and then listen back to yourself to write los números en cifras. Okay? I love when you use your own español as a listening exercise. I've said it before, hearing is believing. When you hear yourself speak español, you can believe that you really do speak español. Tú hablas español. Okay, so that's how I want you to do Actividad 20. Record yourself saying the numbers, use it to take it as a dictation. Bien, pause the video and do Actividad 20 ahora. Muy bien. I say muy bien, very good, porque has practicado los números un poco. Y está bien, muy bien. Ahora vamos a practicar el alfabeto un poco. Bien? So, actividad 21 requires you to hear people spelling their names out, and actividad 22 asks you to do the same. Comenzamos con el alfabeto conmigo. Bien? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, Ñ, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Ahora, actividad 21 en página 28, I think it is, sí. They're going to say, ¿cómo se escribe? Do you remember? ¿Recuerdas? ¿Cómo se escribe? From section 1E. It means, how do you write it? See? ¿Cómo se escribe? Escribe. Escribe comes from the same root that gives us scribble and scribe. So it's easy to remember. ¿Cómo se escribe? ¿Cómo te llamas? What's your name? And you've only got a couple of números when he says la calle, the name of his street, y el número. So he's giving his address, which is su dirección. So only a couple of números. There's that one. And then there's ¿cuántos años tienes? ¿Cuántos means how many, and you can think of the quantity. It's asking for the quantity. ¿Cuántos años means years. ¿Cuántos años? How many years? Don't say años. Ano means anus. That's not what we're asking about. ¿Cuántos años tienes? Tienes means you have. It's there on Página 29. It's in that little box called Gramática. ¿Cuántos años tienes? And he gives his age. So pause the video so that you can escuchar, and it is pista 34, and you're going to completar el diálogo, completar la información en el diálogo. Pause video for actividad 21. Bien. Now you might have had to listen a few times, varias veces, to get when he's spelling out his name and his street, su nombre, su calle. I hope you got the numbers, los números. So now we're going to practicar el diálogo. I would use your transcript book, and then you can substitute in different information. Now what I did was write down a few names and a few made-up addresses, made-up names, made-up addresses, so I can then practicar el diálogo varias veces, a few times, see? So it'll be, ¿Cómo te llamas? Me llamo Mrs. Morrison. ¿Cómo se escribe? M-O-R-I-S-O-N. ¿Sí? ¿Y dónde vives? Vivo en la calle Gibson, my made-up name, my made-up street, la calle Gibson, número 2. ¿Cómo se escribe? G-I-B-S-O-N. ¿Sí? Y was that right? Yes, sí. ¿Cuántos años tienes? Okay, Mrs. Morrison, en mi imaginación, is very old. So I'm going to say, tengo 99 años. See? I've got a few here, so I can practicar el diálogo varias veces. I recomiendo that you do the same. Pause the video for actividad 22. Muy bien. Has practicado el diálogo and you are getting better at español paso a paso. By making each step, you get better. Y poco a poco, little by little, you become fluent in español. ¡Hurra! It's your goal and we're going to achieve it. Actividad 23 on Página 29 is a wonderful actividad. It says, ¿Cuántos años tienen ahora? That is, how many years do they have now? Or how old are they now? ¿Cuántos años tienen ahora? And it gives you their date of birth. La fecha de nacimiento. Okay, nacer is born in español, to be born. It gives us this, it comes from the same root that gives us the nativity, you know, when Christ was born, it was the nativity. So nacimiento is birth. He was born or she was born is nació. And this is why I love this actividad. I think it's great because imagínate que un señor nació en 78, right? In 68. Nació en 78. then we can count up through the years to work out cuántos años tiene ahora. How old is he now? Ahora. All right? And I love that word ahora, which means now. Ahora. Ahora. Right, so, el señor nació en 68. So if we're counting up, 78, 88, 98, 2008, 2018. So we've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So he's 50 and whatever you need to add. See? ¿Cuántos años tiene ahora? It's a speaking actividad. Say the words out loud. It's a great idea to do that. And pause this video for the wonderful Actividad 23. Bien. Rafael Nadal is very young. Es muy joven. En mi imaginación, he was a little bit older than that. Also, were you comfortable with 2008, 2015, words like that? 2008, 2015. I hope so. The last group, el último grupo para hoy, is counting in hundreds. So we have 100, 200, 300, 400, and then we have my favorite word en español, 500. Sounds so cute to me. I love it. 500. Do you like it? 500. It's lovely to say. 600 is 600, 700, 700. So that's a little bit irregular because we have siete, but 700, 800, 900. So that's a little bit irregular too. We have 9 is 9, y 900 is 900, and then 1000. So you need to be able to count in hundreds as well. There's something else. With the hundreds, you have 100 is 100. So you have 100 dogs is 100 perros. Okay? 100 grams is 100 gramos. But if you have 101, it's 101. 101. 110, 110. Now we say 110. In Spanish they say 110. Don't put and in. 110. And that means that you don't end up with 143, because to say 43, you say 43. So we would have en español 143. ¿Sí? Muy bien. Actividad 24 A. Just listen to the numbers. Escucha los números. So pause the video and do that. Actividad 24, parte B, is an exercise, un ejercicio, to transform words into figures, palabras, into cifras, and then cifras into palabras. See? What I would recommend is that you use your phone to record yourself saying the numbers, and then use that little video as a dictation to write down las palabras or las cifras. So it becomes a speaking exercise as well, and you start to get las palabras out of your mouth, which is always muy, muy importante. So pause the video and do that. Muy bien. The review, the things you need to learn from this lesson are the groups of numbers. You really need to practice those, and they're easy to practice, so I would expect that you can learn them, or at least some of them. What you need to do, of course, is look away from them and try to reproduce them. So you're trying to count without looking. Have them on a piece of paper. You can download them from my website, or they're all over the internet, but I think my resources are pretty good, so you might want to get them from there. Spanglishfantastico.com, of course. The other thing that I would really like you to learn from today is ¿cuántos años tienes? Tengo 50 años, 60 años, 70 años. Tengo 60 años, okay? So you're saying, how old are you? I am 60, or whatever it may be. And the next steps, we are going to be doing a bit about the food that you eat, la comida que comes o que no comes, your dietary requirements, y la cultura de la comida en España. And then we're moving on to la gramática. So there'll be verbs to have, to live, to work, and a little bit more grammatica. It's so useful. And remember, by making every step, cada paso, you will arrive at your goal. So I hope to see you for the next part, the grammar, la gramática y los ejercicios para terminar Unidad 2. I hope to see you soon. Hasta pronto. Adiós.